What's going on, everybody? Thank you for coming back to Dave the Confused. What this story is nothing short of like one of the craziest stories to ever exist, and it's 100% real. It happened to a gentleman that was actually a chef or cook on a tugboat about 32 kilometers off of Nigeria. Basically, these type of boats would either be used to drag things across the water or like pick up other boats, or and they would spend days, sometimes weeks on the water. And of course, if you're going to spend that long on the water, you got to eat. So this guy was the cook on the boat. And one night he got up out of his bunk to go to the bathroom. This would end up saving his life, because during that time in the bathroom, that tugboat capsized, literally turned over, and started to sink at rapid speeds. Because he was in the bathroom, he was essentially cut off from the water spewing into the boat and pulling all the other people on the boat outside of the boat or drowning them in their bunks. There was 12 to 13 people on board, and he was the only survivor. The craziest part about this is the boat hit the bottom of the ocean and stayed there. He was trapped in this boat using small pockets of air to survive. He then was able to swim to essentially the front of the boat where the kitchen was located, where he's found a large pocket of air that he could essentially breathe for a certain amount of time. Using pieces of the wall and broken wood and debris, he was able to make a surface that would float on the water that he could sit on, so his body would not be in salt water for long periods of time. He found one bottle of Coca-Cola in order to survive and sip, and had to regulate his breathing in order to not take up too much oxygen while he was there. 3 days later, an extraction team went down and scuba dived down to the boat to pull out bodies in order to bring them to the surface so these folks could have a funeral. And that's when they found him. He was still alive in the kitchen air pocket, and they said he maybe had about 4 hours left of oxygen. He had spent almost 72 hours in that little area sipping on Coca-Cola. He said the scariest thing about it was he could hear through the echoes of the metal ship fish and sharks feeding on the dead bodies of his friends that drowned in the wreck. Like, it's just the thought of that, hearing the bodies of your friends being devoured when you're 10 feet away from them. It was so crazy that a rescue team went down. They put him in scuba gear, and he had to spend almost 48 hours in a decompression chamber before he can be released to his family, because his body was under such compression from being underwater for so long. Now, this is a true story. If you don't believe me, look it up. It will be some of the craziest things you've ever seen. I'm Dave, still confused, and Elisa, dogs and werewolves. Peace.